tornado warning to let folks know about. This is our box down here. It's going to be this purple shaded box down in Stark County. We're looking at North Judson and portions of Knox as well will be included with this tornado warning. Let's go ahead and zoom in the radar just a little bit and actually talk about the features that we're seeing here. As we can see, a pretty large area, almost all of Stark County, going to be actually covered by this warning. And what we're actually looking for and what the National Weather Service has highlighted as an area of rotation is going to be this little notch that's just to the south there of North Judson. What's actually happening is the winds are feeding in to this portion of the line of storms that are moving through Michiana right now. And anytime we see that little notch or maybe even a kink in the system, that's when we do need to be taking this fairly seriously. Let's go ahead and time out when folks will be seeing this tornado warning that will be moving through. These storms are moving very, very quickly across all of Michiana. And again, it's the reason for that is just there's so much energy in the atmosphere. Here's your times right now. If you are in one of these towns, you do need to go inside, go into your safe place. And what you need to do is just put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So again, if you see a window, it's probably not a great place to be if you are underneath this tornado warning. Let's go ahead and talk about timing now. Oop, hold on there. Just switch the graphics real quick. Give me 2 seconds there. All right, there we go. Going back here, here's our lightning and showing where that tornado actually is. Let me turn on that warning once again. All right, there we are. And we will time out this system once again. All right, there we go. Again, if you see this, if you see one of your cities, again, in this box, you do need to be taking shelter there. So, okay, so Toto, 310, so fairly soon. Right now, that's where that storm is, where we are seeing that light rotation, where the National Weather Service saw it. Bass Lake, 313 there. 315 will be in Knox. Hamlet in 420. Of course, that's when you're going to be crossing over the time change there. But this storm is moving very, very fast. It's something that we've actually been watching throughout the entire day today, just because we saw sunshine, a lot of sunshine, especially later in the afternoon. And a lot of folks really started to warm up as well. Take a look at all of the lightning density that's over there. Again, we are dealing with a fairly potent storm there. Again, here's that box. It's going to be in portions of Stark County, and this tornado warning is set to expire at 4:30, and that's going to be, of course, in Eastern time. But I'd like to point out something. It doesn't mean once it hits 4:30, we're going to be done with the severe weather threat for today. That's just when this box is going to be expiring. That's when we're seeing this area of rotation, again, that's right next to North Judson there, and it'll be moving into portions of Bass Lake and Knox within the next 30 minutes or so. As soon as that expires, that means the National Weather Service could reevaluate this storm, and they may actually decide to further extend it as well. So let's go ahead and zoom out and talk about this whole line of storms too, because it is a very big system that is actually moving through portions of Michiana. And it's not just that one tornado warning down there in Stark County, because that is obviously going to be the most dangerous part of the system. Take a look at this throughout all of Michiana as this large system is moving through. It's actually spitting out some smaller thunderstorms as it's moving through. We're seeing a large cold front that's going to be kind of moving through Michiana, and out in front of it, we're getting these little showers, which actually will be helping kind of destabilize this back portion of the storm. But we are still seeing those severe warnings and, of course, tornado warnings actually showing us how strong this system is. But we do have those yellow severe thunderstorm boxes for pretty much the central and eastern part, western portion of our viewing area, going all the way out to LaPorte, Stark, and of course Pulaski counties. They are going to be dealing with a lot of those really stormy conditions, and this storm is moving in quickly. If you were watching 16.2, our Chicago station, watching that White Sox game, we actually got a report from one of the announcers there saying he hasn't seen a storm move through this quickly in about 30 years. Now, the main hazard with this storm, obviously, we do have that tornado warning down in Stark County that's moving into portions of Knox. That'll be happening in the next 30 minutes or so. But we are watching for strong winds associated with this system. My goodness, we've already had a couple reports of 60 and 70 mile an hour winds that have been moving through portions of Illinois and western Indiana. In Lake and Porter counties, we've already had some reports in a very, very strong wind gust. That's going to be the main concern with this system. Let's go ahead, though, and zoom back in on our tornado warning down in Stark County. Again, North Judson, the storm should have already passed over you, but you're still going to be dealing with really, really heavy rain right now. And actually, I would not be surprised if there was some reports of maybe some isolated hail over there just because of how strong this storm is. This is that notch that we're looking at that's right by Knox. So Knox, if you're watching right now, you do need to be getting in your safe place. There's a tornado warning that is issued there. The good news is it is a radar indicated. We actually don't have confirmation that there's an actual tornado on the ground. Nevertheless, is a good time for you to practice getting into your safe place. Going to be having some bumpy weather coming over. Let's go ahead and talk about the winds and actually showing a little bit of rotation here. And this is actually what the National Weather Service was looking for when they issued that warning. Let me put the warning on just one more time. There we go. So we can actually see where those boxes are. And again, if you are in this purple box here, need to be getting into your safe place. What we're watching for is the winds that are going away from the radar and towards the radar. When you have two opposing winds like that, that's when you're going to be getting a little bit of spin in the atmosphere and where we could be watching that tornado form. You see this little hook, excuse me, just to the northwest there of North Judson, northeast, excuse me. That's where we are expecting those winds to be kind of opposing there and moving through. With this line of storms, we're not really watching for strong tornadoes that have the ability to track for a long time. It's when we call up quick spin up tornadoes, just right on the front of the line, just because the whole line is really taking a lot of energy. Again, Knox, if you are watching from Knox or anywhere around in the surrounding areas, you do need to be taking shelter, getting into your safe place, please, because again, there's that area of rotation and moving out. Let me put a time box on there and time it out for everybody in this location. Here's our little area of rotation. Go through out the box there. Hamlet will be there in 11 minutes. This storm's moving quickly, right around 55 miles an hour, sometimes even quicker than that. We've actually seen the storm move again and get faster and faster and faster as the afternoon and actually day has progressed. Real quick though, we have Alyssa Heilman here, and I'm going to send it over to her real quick. She's going to talk about what she's actually seeing with the storm. And again, the big picture today, Alyssa, is going to be this tornado warning that we have down here in Stark County.
Yeah, Jack. So, of course, we're watching that tornado warning. That's going to be our focus there. And he hit on those areas that definitely need to take cover. If you're in any of those areas in that purple surrounded box, definitely find your shelter because, of course, you're under a tornado warning right now. Really quickly, I do want to turn just to our current temperatures that we have right now here in Michiana. And we are just seeing really the expansiveness of this cold front and the strength of it as well. As you can see, areas in the southern, western portions of Michiana, already 54 degrees down there in Win Max. So that's that very strong, impressive cold front that we've been first alerting you to all day and really all week because we knew it was going to be strong, and that line of storms that's moving through with it, of course, strong as well. And all of those warm temperatures that we've been seeing throughout the day, those high dew points that we've also been seeing again, and those peaks of sunshine that we've been telling you. If we saw sunshine today, it was going to be a concern and going to give more energy to those storms, and that's really exactly the case of what happened today. Turning quickly again to some wind gusts that we have, same thing, seeing those significant winds that are down in those southwestern portions of Michiana where they're seeing that storm moving through, that line of storms moving through, as well as that tornado warning. So again, much colder there because the cold front has moved through and because of those stronger winds, because that cold front has moved through around 60 miles per hour for those wind gusts as that line starts to move into Michiana. I want to go back to Jack so he can talk more about that tornado warning.
Thank you, Alyssa. Also, take a look at that. Look at the pink coloration that's just off to our west there, just to the west of Winnemac. Really, really strong wind gusts to the south there of Chicago. And that is actually going to be, again, the main concern with the storm that's moving through. Yes, we do have, of course, that tornado warning. Let's get back to that real quick. But again, the primary hazard that pretty much everybody is going to be seeing is going to be those strong wind gusts that'll be moving through. I'll go ahead, pause the radar. Let's go ahead and zoom back in and talk about this storm. And man, it is just rather impressive. When you see these colors like that on the radar, it's usually a summertime phenomena. Again, we're in about the second and a half week of the spring, so somewhat impressive, especially for this time of year. Again, tornado warning has been issued for portions of Stark County. Knox, that's where that storm is right now, needs to be getting into your safe place. Let's go ahead and zoom in and time out where this storm is and where it is going. And something with the storm too, again, it's moving fast, right around 55 miles an hour. So it's somewhere in the range of actually interstate speeds that this storm is moving at. Now, again, the saving grace with this storm is this is going to be the most dangerous portion of the storm, but it is radar indicated as of now. We haven't had a spotter report, a picture, a video, somebody calling in for that matter saying, oh, there's a tornado on the ground. The National Weather Service in their offices, which is over by Warsaw, actually, they were seeing signs of rotation on the radar. And as they were watching this storm, they said, okay, this does have the potential to produce a tornado. We have not yet confirmed that it has. But if it was going to happen, it's going to be in this purple shaded box. And we're starting to get kind of close to the end of that warning. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if they extended it. We're still kind of seeing that notch-like feature just to the south there of Knox, to the north of Bass Lake, and also kind of to the north there of Knox as well. Let me kind of zoom in there, see if we have any rotation. I really wouldn't be surprised if we were seeing two kind of distinct areas of rotation. Let's one more time, Melissa.
Westville and Wanata, lines down, power outages.
Power outages. I mean, I'm not surprised by that at all. This is just a wall of wind moving through those areas. Knox and Hamlet there, again, really watching for really gusty conditions. And here's where that tornado warning, this is what the National Weather Service was looking at right there. Again, let me put this warning box on. There we go. And we can see, again, this is where that tornado warning really was formed from, because we're seeing the winds start to circulate on the front leading edge of that storm line there. But as we can see, moving quickly, this storm is set to expire, or at least this warning is set to expire at 4:30. I'm still seeing signs of rotation to the south of Knox, but let's go ahead and go to the north there. Yeah, you're looking at a little bit of a baby notch up there. I wouldn't be surprised if that's another area of rotation, something else that the National Weather Service is probably going to be keying in, and something I would be kind of concerned about as well. Hamlet, again, need to be in your safe place. We're looking at an area of rotation that looks like it's going to be passing maybe just to the north, if not on top of you. So again, something to be keeping in mind. Zoom out the map and talk about some more gusty conditions. Looks like as of now, man, that is just rather impressive. Take a look at this down here, just that line of wind that's coming out. We call that an outflow boundary, just because what's happening is when that cold front's pushing through and the rain is coming down, as the rain falls, it's pushing a wall of wind out in front. And that's what we're actually seeing here on radar. Two opposing directions. We're not looking at any sort of rotation down here, maybe down here towards Rochester. That's something actually I just noticed here. Let's go ahead and kind of key in there. Maybe an area of rotation over here. Rochester is underneath a severe thunderstorm warning as of now, just because this whole line actually is underneath a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, we're just seeing unbelievably strong amounts of energy in the atmosphere. Something that we've been talking about all week is, are we going to be cloudy or are we going to be sunny? And unfortunately today we were fairly sunny, especially after that noontime hour, and temperatures across the region. Alyssa hit on it a little bit. We were in the 70s, middle 70s, 75 degrees I think we had here at the station, and sunny skies, so really charging up the atmosphere as well. Again, tornado warning for portions of Stark County, including Knox, moving over to Hamlet too. Let me zoom in the map here real quick. Show that area of rotation once again. This is where we're like, over, you need to be getting in your safe place as well. Again, that's where National Weather Service has been seeing, and for us, that matter, we've been noticing it too. It's where we're seeing a little bit of rotation, something that we need to be keeping in mind. I'm going to time out the rest of this storm here and see where it's going. Notice how these warning boxes are kind of oriented in a northeasterly fashion. That's just where the storms are going to be moving. So portions of St. Joe County, Indiana. Yeah, you guys are going to be on deck here. We're here at our stations at WNDU, located in South Bend, hearing some light rain as of now that's moving over us. I'm going to flip back on the radar so you can see the storm, and just putting out a pretty impressive amount of lightning. Also, notice how the lightning, it's kind of in groups. That's kind of the different cells, individual cells that are kind of put together in this storm. And actually, we have been seeing reports of hail in some of those cells, right around nickel-sized reports. But again, this system is moving up towards the northeast, something we're keeping a rather close eye on. Again, let me flip on the boxes. We can go ahead and time out this most dangerous portion of the storm here that has been tornado warned down there in Stark County. And pretty much Stark County, it's almost out of there. Again, this thing, it's cooking. It's just been something we've been watching for. So let me go ahead, let's put a track on this system here. Draw the little line and bring it up. Let's bring it all the way up there. Okay, so this is when this strong portion of the storm, again, it has produced a tornado warning. Not a tornado warning, something to keep in mind there. Walkerton 428 will be there right around 5 minutes. Potato Creek, if you're out there, probably a good idea to either get into the nature pavilion out there, or maybe just get in your car. If you can get home safely, go ahead and do that, but the Nature Pavilion is going to probably be your best bet there. Lakeville will be there at 4:40, 4:51 for portions of Mishawaka. Elkhart will be there at 5:01, and Midway, you got 5:04. Again, this storm is moving right around 55 miles an hour, could be moving upwards of 60 miles an hour, 60, 65 miles an hour. I really wouldn't be surprised. Something that we've just been noticing, Alyssa, again, this whole day today, is how fast this storm was moving. You were talking about how fast it moved when it got into Elkhart, when it got into Illinois, isn't that right?
Yeah, exactly. I was here earlier this morning on the early show, and we saw, of course, was tracking the radar, and it was in Illinois, and it moved very fast from central Illinois, then to portions of eastern Illinois, and then started making its way into Indiana. And of course, as we're seeing that tornado warning, which Jack's been talking all about in the purple box there, we're seeing it get a little bit moving out of that tornado warning and getting close to expiration. So I do want to go back and continue to alert everybody that we're seeing for the entirety of Michiana. Everybody is under that tornado watch right now. So of course the warning is just for that isolated area that Jack's been talking about, but still make sure everybody is aware that we are under that tornado warning for all of Michiana there. You're seeing all of our counties in Michiana still under that tornado watch, and that expires at 8 p.m. this evening. So again, that doesn't mean you need to take cover right now. You don't need to get into shelter right now if you're under a watch, but you need to have those plans prepared for what you would do if you get under one of those warnings, like is the case in some of those southwestern counties in Michiana right now. So again, everybody in Michiana under that tornado watch. So definitely have plans prepared for what you would do in the case that you get under a tornado warning. And I do just want to quickly make sure everybody is aware of those safe zones, where the best spot is in case you get under one of those tornado warnings. Definitely not upstairs. You want to stay away from upstairs, and you want to stay away from windows. The most important thing here is to be away from those windows and be on a level, either ground level or below ground level is the best possible spot you could be. If you've got a basement, again, in the basement, away from those windows. If you do not have a basement, then the lower level of your floor, the lowest one you can get on, away from those windows. That is important for anyone under those tornado warnings. Turning back here really quickly to our radar, where we are seeing, again, that warning is still prevalent for Knox, and yes, continuing to see that there in Knox, but we again are seeing that get closer and closer to the expiration. It's 4:27. It's got the end there for 4:30. So again, just 3 minutes out, but we're seeing that mostly move out. So we're still just gonna make sure that everyone's aware of the severe thunderstorm warnings that we're still under. And again, as we just talked about, the tornado watch that we are under as well. Handing it back to Jack.
Let's go ahead and talk about, I wanted to show up the cameras because it's fairly impressive. Some of the storm structure we've also seen. Once again, we're about 2 minutes away from the expiration of that tornado warning that's down there in Stark County there. Again, portions of Knox, it's moving through. As we can see, again, the strongest portion of the storm, where that rotation is has pretty much moved out, and the fact that the National Weather Service hasn't continued that warning is a good sign, at least in my eyes, that it was just very quick. There's an area of rotation that they saw, they flagged it, they got a warning out. That's exactly what they're there to do, and then it's our job to make sure everybody is aware and knows exactly, one, where to go. Alyssa did a great job there explaining where you need to be in the event of a tornado warning. And again, that's what we're here to do, is just to make sure that everybody is aware. Again, that leading edge where we saw that area of rotation, go ahead and zoom in, has moved on from Stark County and is actually in parts of Marshall and then in southern portions of St. Joe County, Indiana. So I'm going to go ahead and put the timing on for folks so we know when it's coming through. Give me 1 second. Let me draw my little line here. Come up. All right, so we got South Bend in there too. Okay, that's good. 4:30 will be in North Liberty. So again, southern St. Joe County, South Bend, 4:45. This system will be moving through. And again, these are just estimations. They could actually be moving in quicker than that. And that's something that we've already noticed. Take a look at the distance between the end of that tornado warning and actually where that storm is now. It was estimated that at the end of that tornado warning, that's where that leading edge is. That's a good little distance right there. I wouldn't be surprised if that's around 15, 20 miles away. So again, these storms, it's something we've been talking about. They're going to come quickly, and they're going to be rather loud, rather intense as they move through. Mishawaka will be there right before 4:50 there, 4:49. We're looking at portions of Elkhart, 4:59, 5:08 Bristol. Being penned there at 5:11. So again, the storms are going good. That was a great sign there. Did everybody see that?
There you go.
I love that right there. Tornado warning has expired. That's good. I like that. That makes me happy. Just because, again, the main reason for that is the fact that the rotation is weak. It has started to weaken down just a little bit. I'm making a mess on this map. Hold on here.
I get off of it and click back on.
Okay, thank you. See, here we go. Technology is everybody's friend here. Okay, there we go. That's better. Clean slate. Notice, again, that tornado warning has expired from the National Weather Service, but that doesn't mean that everybody is just set to kind of carry on as they will. We still have some strong storms moving through Michiana. We're going to stay on the air just for a little longer and just talk about the current situation, actually what we're going to be expecting going into the late afternoon and, of course, early evening. I don't want to kind of leave everybody high and dry just because, again, that warning expired. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings that the National Weather Service has issued. The primary threat with this line of storms is still going to be really, really gusty and windy conditions. We've already had reports of right around 60-mile-an-hour winds and even 70-mile-an-hour winds. Thankfully, I don't think we've gotten, Alyssa, have we gotten any of those yet in our viewing area or no?
What?
Wind reports.
Not specific wind reports, but lots of damage reports.
Lots of damage reports?
Yes, signs down on highways.
Yeah, signs down, the lines down.
Yep.
So we're probably going to be seeing some power outages, unfortunately, going into the evening. Okay, so it's something where we're going to be keeping a close eye on, us and, of course, the news station as a whole, because we'll probably go out there and report on some of this. But again, severe thunderstorm warnings for much of Michiana. Again, just that western portion. That's something I would not be surprised to see them actually extend out in front of, just to kind of get in front of the storm. I'm going to kind of move it over to the east there, and you can kind of see that there's these little storms that are actually starting to bubble out in front. And we only see this with fairly strong and potent storm systems. And the driver of this is a low pressure system that actually has a really strong cold front. And when you have a really strong cold front, again, gradient between warm air and cold air is going to be moving through to start off the week. And when we have that, it kind of acts as a bit of a nose or a wedge. Let's go with the wedge. And really pushes up a lot of that warm air, because cold air is denser, so it's at the surface. Pushes up a lot of warm air and really kind of just, it's all this prefrontal stuff, which is actually good news for us because what these little storms out in front will be doing is eating away at a lot of the potential energy for this large line of storms. I'm going to go ahead and move it back where that pretty potent line of storms are. Let's go ahead and talk about South Bend, Niles, Berrien Springs, St. Joseph, Michigan there. Yeah, you guys are going to be on deck next for this line of storms moving through. I'm going to put the wind on real quick. Let's go ahead and see what our wind gusts. Yeah, there's still Excuse me there. Got a little bit of a cold today, but that's all right. You got to work through your adversity there. They'll be moving through within the next about 10-15 minutes for a lot of folks. It does look like the strongest winds are going to be to the south, so good news there, but some pretty dramatic imagery that we're starting to see, especially on some of our sky cams. I'm kind of looking over pretty impressive cloud structure. Alyssa, do you want to talk about that real quick? Maybe put a couple cameras on and kind of show folks what they are expecting. But again, everybody should be inside right now. There's no reason to be outside.
Absolutely. I've got a lot of reports from family members and others sending in some tips to the station that really, you look to one side of the sky and you're seeing still some of those peaks of sunshine, which we've been first alerting and warning you, we don't want to see sun today, and unfortunately we did. Charged up that atmosphere, and that's likely the reason we're seeing a good amount of these severe storms moving through. Again, brought more energy into Michiana, and those storms fired off like we're seeing right now. So you look to one side of the sky and you're seeing some peaks of sunshine, some clear skies, and you look the other way and it's incredibly dark. And that's definitely the case here in Michiana as we're starting to see those storms moving through a good portion of Michiana. Behind us, right outside the studio there, you can see those very dark skies a little bit further behind, but again, you're seeing some of those lighter clouds up front, and that's those storms moving through. We know they're headed towards South Bend right now. Of course, we were just showing you that live radar. Definitely on the way here. Downtown South Bend, same thing. You can see those dark skies set back there. Let's turn to Notre Dame. Oh, wow. Yeah. Definitely dark skies there as well. So I think you kind of get the message. We're seeing those dark skies as those storms are starting to roll in here in South Bend. Let's go to Elkhart a little bit further away. Yeah. That's kind of a good image there where you can see right hand of the screen, right side of the screen, I should say, some of those clearer skies. That's where we're getting still some of those peaks of sunshine. And as we get over here, that's where we start to see those storms rolling in. Definitely prevalent, definitely moving into portions of eastern Michiana as we continue to get later into this line moving through here. Turning it back to Jack as well.
Thank you, Alyssa. Again, just kind of scary images that we're starting to see kind of come in there. Again, just those dark storm clouds. Nothing really that is a big cause for concern. They're just kind of out there looking fairly ominous as they're moving through. Let's go ahead and talk about the radar real quick. And Alyssa, if you don't mind, can you give me a glass of water? Yeah. If you don't mind. Again, it's that stupid cold that I have. It's annoying. But let's go ahead and take a look at our current radar. Oh, we have an extension of a severe thunderstorm warning. That's no surprise there. Good news, again, still not seeing an update on that tornado warning that did expire down there in Stark County. So that's good news. We are starting to see the system start to slow down a little bit, but it's really just putting out an impressive amount of storms. Take a look at all these little storms that are out in front of that main line. That's really showing us how strong this cold front really is. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it. Right here. This is an impressive warning box right here. And the National Weather Service does that usually for these expansive lines of storms, just to get out in front of it and give folks a lot of lead time. And this warning box going all the way, almost all the way through the remainder of our viewing area here in Michiana. Take a look at this. Going all the way through the almost the entire part of LaGrange County, right on the doorstep there of Fort Wayne. So if you have any family down there, I have family down there in Fort Wayne, be a good idea just to let them know, like, hey, some stronger storms are on the way. As of now, we're not seeing any reports of tornadoes on the ground, but again, still gusty winds are going to be the main concern. And if you have any damage pictures, wait until the storm is over to go out there and snap those pictures. We are seeing, again, heavy rain moving through. Again, that new severe thunderstorm warning really extended out for the rest of our viewing area. Just be watching that. The southern portion of this storm is looking like it's going to be the most potent and the strongest. And when I mean strongest, it's not in the terms of course, tornadoes. We're actually talking about wind speed. We're talking about straight line winds being the biggest concern with this system. Let me go ahead and time out the end here of this system. Going right here for parts of Kosciuszko County, go down to Peru. We'll include them in this box, and then all the way out through portions there of LaGrange County. Got Napanee will be there at 441. You're pretty much up next there. Warsaw got 52 right there. Ligonier will be there 506. Columbia City, which is obviously a little bit 2 hours south, 514. Abilene be there at 523, and of course Fort Wayne be there right around 535. So again, just letting people know ahead, hey, there's some stronger weather coming your way, and we're almost through this. This is somewhat unusual for this time of year. Again, we've been hitting on this all day. These things are moving quickly, and as soon as they're done, as soon as that leading edge is over, you're going to be dealing with heavy rain for about a good 15 to maybe even 20 minutes. And actually, there could be some hail embedded there, which would add to some of the noise level that you'd be hearing in your house. So kind of keep that in the back of your head as these storms are moving through. Again, good news is we haven't seen an extension of a tornado warning that's moving through. Alyssa, you want to expand on this? I'm going to grab a glass of water real quick.
I do. When I was grabbing your glass of water, I ran into the newsroom. As I got Jack his water, I ran into the newsroom. We did get a couple phone calls saying in Marshall County that those tornado sirens were going off, but I do just want to update anybody who's questioning that tornado warning has expired, especially for areas of Marshall County. We are no longer seeing that. Let me turn off that. Oh. And there we go. We're no longer seeing that tornado warning in the case in those southwestern areas. But again, we do still have a watch that is under effect for all of Michiana right now, seeing all of those counties under that tornado watch. It actually just a little bit to our north. They're actually been under a severe weather watch as well. So just to our north, outside our DMA, outside of Michiana, just to our north in some of those Michigan counties, they are seeing that severe watch. But of course, we are in a lot of those severe warnings here in Michiana. We're also under that tornado watch as well. So seeing all of that dark red. We're not seeing any tornado warnings right now. They have expired again for that concern in Marshall County. Again, that siren could have gone off with that last tornado warning that we were seeing, but that one has expired for now. So everybody is safe right now. You don't have to hunker down right now. But again, everyone be prepared with plans that you have just in case you get under that tornado warning as we get later into these storms. But again, as Jack's been saying, they are moving very, very quickly. That's really been the case since we started tracking them as they were in Illinois. They have been moving very fast, and I was just looking at a report we got here. Looks like they're moving about 55 miles per hour, coming with those gusts that we first alerted you to, those max gusts we were expecting to see with these storms, right around 70 miles per hour. And that's already the case that we're getting. And it mostly seems like a lot of the damage reports that I've been seeing as well are all associated with those very strong winds. We're seeing the damage reports of lines down, of trees down, of road signs, excuse me.
Slide-offs, I thought.
Slide-offs, yes. I saw that. I think all associated with, it seems like 421. So that's, I think, near the Westville area. So some of those northern portions of Michiana a little bit, seeing some of those very strong winds. And again, that's what we've been first alerting you to was our main concern with this system. Those strong wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. And we are definitely seeing those here in Michiana. I do want to turn again to some of the wind gusts that we are seeing right now. And it looks like that has moved into some central portions of Michiana. Plymouth there, 53 miles per hour. And you can really see that that stark color contrast there, that bright pink. That's where they're seeing some of those strongest wind gusts as these lines are now starting to move, of course, from those southwestern portions more northeastern into Michiana, into more northeastern portions of Michiana. And we're also seeing those temperatures along with this system cooling down as it's passing through very significantly. I mean, Jack talked about it, that outflow from those storm systems, and it's very apparent here, already down to 55 degrees in Knox, in Winnemac, 59 in Rochester. And as we get into some of those northeastern areas that haven't seen those line of storms, that system moving through yet, already seeing, or still seeing those temperatures, I should say, in the lower 70s. So very, very stark contrast, all associated with that line of storms that we knew was coming along with very gusty winds, that strong cold front. Of course, we've been first alerting as well that, there's possibility of hail, and we have reports of a good amount of pea-size hail coming down with this line of storms as well, and some isolated tornadoes, which we've been alerting you to. We haven't got any confirmed reports of the tornadoes on the ground. We should continue to note that. We just have that tornado warning that was out, but nothing so far on specifically anything touching down in terms of tornadoes. We are also seeing, let's take a look at those dew points as well, which for dew points, you want to see with these types of storms, you're going to see really high dew points really close to those current temperatures. So we're seeing more of those high dew points again in those northeastern areas where they have not seen that storm move through yet, and then it looks like pretty much 100% humidity down in some of those southwestern portions where that storm has or is really sitting over right now. So definitely seeing the classics set up for those spring systems, those spring storms here in Michiana. I think Jack's going to talk more about the radar he's got coming up as well, or dew points.
I like both. I like both, really. But it's kind of cool to see, actually, for the dew points, where you're seeing that 100% humidity down there in Winnemac, 55 degrees as the dew point, 55 degrees as the actual air temperature. It's because the air is actually saturated. And the reason for that, watch this. Let me flip on the radar, and you can pretty much see it for yourself. It's the fact that they are in rain. That's what happens when it's raining, is you get that 100% dew point that'll be moving through. Let me get all this noise off for you here. We'll keep the severe warning boxes on. But yeah, down in Winnemac, again, they're just dealing with rain, hence the 100% chance of humidity. Again, the storms are about halfway through Michiana right now, and they will pretty much be exiting the whole area within the next half hour, maybe even 45 minutes. These things aren't playing around. They're moving very, very quickly. Zoom out the radar. I'll time out the arrival for the rest of Michiana.
Oh,
but again, we haven't really seen any sort of any more extensions on tornado warnings, which is great news. Actually, just hearing the rain move over Michiana right now, or at least over our station. You got something over there, Alyssa?
No, I thought I did. Continue.
Okay, no problem there. Again, so here's the timings for the remainder of the storm. 4:51 it'll be in Granger. Actually, could be there even quicker, just because we're pretty close to Granger here in South Bend. On the live cams there?
Downtown South Bend.
Downtown South Bend live cam?
Any of them, really.
Okay, all right. Let's see what we got here. Here, you drive.
Yep.
You drive.
All right.
What did you see?
Nothing, just I want to show that.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
Yep.
Look at that, downtown South Bend. You can really see the wind, actually.
Wow.
With this system. My goodness, whiteout conditions. We usually only talk about whiteout conditions when it refers to blizzards, for that matter. This is a thunderstorm coming through. Very dangerous conditions. I think this guy, down there, just take it slow down there. I thought he had his hazards on. Something like this, though, if you're on a big-time road, you do want to go ahead and pull over, throw those hazards on, and just kind of wait this thing out. Yep. Again, we're not going to be looking at any sort of tornado warning with this system. And look at that. It's already starting to lighten up. Again, a very just quick burst of energy going through. It's no shock that a lot of folks, especially down 2 hours south, have already been seeing some power outages, poles down, trees down, and actually we have had a couple reports of slide-offs, and the reason for that would just be you can't see anything. Like, it's really, really hard to. You're getting the waves of the rain coming through, coming down in almost like sheets is the old explanation there. But yeah, that's a very impressive one. Was there another one you wanted to show there, Alyssa?
Yeah, but they're there.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be looking at the football stadium.
Right.
Can't see that. Goodness me.
Yeah.
This is on top of the studio here. We should be looking downtown. This is 933. This is Door Road right here. And you would have no idea. You would absolutely have no idea. And if you're caught in a situation like this, the best thing you could really do, honestly, just pull over, and you got to wait this thing out.
Even up into St. Joe, too.
Say again?
Up into St. Joe, too.
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah. Lake Michigan's out there kind of hidden by the rain. They haven't experienced the full force of this storm yet, but that just showed you just how impressive it is. And again, it's the wind that's the #1 concern with this system. That's why it's severe thunderstorm warned from top all the way to the bottom, at least for Michiana. And actually, if you zoom out that radar map here, I'll pull that up here. Take a look at this. Look how big this entire system is. Just massive. I'll zoom all the way out there. We got warnings, again, severe thunderstorm warnings all the way up into Michigan. Look how far down it's going, all the way down past St. Louis there. And again, it's all that big cold front that's going to be moving through the area. I'm going to zoom back in. Let's go ahead and talk about where this storm is. Looks like we have an extension there of a severe thunderstorm warning. All right, that's good news. Again, everybody needs to be underneath that severe thunderstorm warning, just because those conditions out there very, very hazardous that we just highlighted. My goodness, I've never actually seen that like that, where you really just can't anything. So that's a little concerning, obviously. But again, no additional tornado warnings for Michiana. The National Weather Service has fully extended, I should say, those severe thunderstorm warnings all the way out through the rest of our viewing area, taking all the way actually to St. Joe, Michigan. Again, the St. Joe County, Michigan, I should say, and then LaGrange County, Indiana. Let me go ahead and put some wind back in here, because again, that is going to be the #1 factor here. We are seeing, it's
moved into Mishawaka now, the sky cam.
Oh, it has?
Yeah.
You want to pull that up?
Yep.
Then? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I mean, it is just, it's incredible.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
My gosh. Yeah, can't.
See if I can move it down a little.
Yeah, there's nothing. We just can't see anything. That's scary. That's on top of the hospital there. You should be able to, again, see so many. Man, that's some really, really strong wind.
Yeah.
Man, I hope we're gonna hear about some tree damage.
Yeah.
Obviously, about this. We already have, and it's something I unfortunately think that we will be moving in. There's a saving grace though, just because it's this time of year, the leaves aren't on the trees, and when you have leafy trees, for that matter, what happens is it actually increases some of the drag and the resistance. It makes the trees go over a little easier. Since there's no leaves on the trees as of now, it should kind of help our cause. But man, that is incredible. Yeah. Goodness gracious. All right, let's go ahead. We'll go back to our radar, if it'll let me. Oh yeah, there it goes. Again, a lot of lightning associated with this system coming through, and we kind of use lightning actually as a way to measure how strong the storm is. If there's a lot of lightning in a tight area with a thunderstorm, that's how we know that, man, it's going to be a fairly impressive. Do you have something to show me?
Power out in Granger, Mishawaka reports.
Oh, okay. Granger, Mishawaka. Report. Do you have any specific locations?
Don Schoenfeld said south side of Mishawaka, power out.
Oh, okay. All right. That's our chief photographer, Don Schoenfeld. All right.
And Andrew said Granger, Mishawaka.
Granger, Mishawaka also out there. I mean, that's no surprise there from those live images that we got in. And again, we don't need you to go out there and take pictures. We already have those cameras on top of some buildings there, giving us information, giving us data as we speak. So don't need to be doing that. Just making sure you're inside, making sure you're safe. Again, if you're out driving out in front of this system, maybe you're in Elkhart, Goshen, or even Sturgis and LaGrange for that matter, it's a good idea. Pull over, just go into a gas station a little bit. Again, we're not talking tornadoes, just really, really strong thunderstorms that are moving through the area. And then with those whiteout rain conditions too. Man, it was rather impressive there. Again, here's our severe thunderstorm warning boxes that are going pretty much through the remainder of Michiana going into this evening. Alyssa, do you have a time where they're going to expire, where the new warnings are going to expire?
Let me get back to you on that.
I would assume right around 5:30 be my guess there. But again, long line of storms, really strong line of storms, especially down to our south is where it's going to kind of be most impressive. I'm going to get the query on there.
5:45 for that northern one.
5:45 for this top one here.
5:30 for the southern.
All right, 5:30 for the southern one. You heard her there just report it. I was just saying it again so everybody heard it there. Again, so just going into your evening plans, dinner time plans, tonight's going to be a good night to eat at home. It would be my guess there. You don't need to be out and driving in that because you just can't see. And you're dealing with also a lot of lightning. Also, you just saw there in that update, National Weather Service is trimming back the warning a little bit just to kind of keep with the strongest portion of that storm. And right now, it just looks like Kosciuszko County down to our south is really just kind of taking a bit of a beating when it comes to just the heaviest intense rain, and also with the wind speeds as well. Warsaw and Syracuse really kind of going through it now. I'll put on the winds so we can see on our velocity tracker. As we can see, all this blue back here, that's rather indicative of strong wind gusts. So anything over 45, 50 mile an hour, that's usually when we see that blue coloration show up on our velocity tracker here. Again, where we're watching the wind direction. That's what we're seeing, wind direction and speed. That's what velocity is, and that's a great measure of it right now. There is some good news here. Really earlier, when we first came on the air, around 410, 415, somewhere in there. We were watching for a really tight line of winds that were moving through. And now we've kind of seen the winds kind of regressed actually a little bit back to our west, which is really good news for a lot of folks. That means the line is weakening a little bit. I want to very carefully say that. Yeah. It's not really weakening a whole bunch. You're still going to be, it's still packing a punch, especially over by Warsaw. Seeing a little bit of opposing winds going into portions of Warsaw, Leesburg, Syracuse. That's actually where the National Weather Service is located there, out there. North Webster is where they are. So we'll keep a close eye on this leading edge of the storm. This could be an area of rotation, an area of concern. So let me go ahead. I'll put the timing on this real quick. Let the folks know. Okay, here we go. Arrowhead Park, 454. The strong portion of that thunderstorm will be there. Syracuse, 457 there. Indian Village, 504. Ligonier will be there, 508. 511 for Topeka, and Coppsville, excuse me, there, 515. Again, if your city is going to be in this box, you do need to be getting into your safe place as of now. Again, it's a severe thunderstorm that's going to be moving through Michiana. And again, it's a severe thunderstorm. You do not need to be outside. Go ahead and head indoors for this large system coming through. I'll go ahead and zoom up just a little bit. So we're watching that area, and we're also going to be kind of moving the radar up just a little bit. Yeah, again, where we're watching the opposing lines. That's that line, that's that original line of storm. So Elkhart, you're on deck next. You need to be watching out, again, for those whiteout conditions out there, just because the rain is coming in almost at a sideways level. This also could be another area of small rotation, just kind of to the southwest there of Goshen, just to the northeast of Napanee. So keeping an eye on just a couple stronger areas of our storm. I'll go ahead and flip on the radar, see what we're looking at here. Yeah, there's a little bit, you can make an argument something would be there. But again, this is going to be our strongest portions of the storm coming through, and you can really see the different pockets of the line of storms, just kind of based off, one, the colors. Anytime you're seeing this maroon color, that's over here in Elkhart County, just the north there of Syracuse, south there of Goshen. You see that maroon also coupled with the heavy density there in lightning. That's where you're going to be seeing the strongest portion of the storm. You're going to be seeing heaviest rain, also the potential for hail. We've got hail reports, right? Yes. Yeah. Smaller, but yes. All right, so yeah, it's, again, strong storms always have small to even medium-sized hail in it. That's usually what we get here in Michiana. Yep. And then, of course, it's going to be that lightning density. And when we see a lot of lightning, that's going to be the strongest portion of the storm. That's the storm that's going to be constantly fed, kind of grabbing in some of that new energy, and something we talked about all day today, and actually for the past 3-4 days, is, again, are we going to be seeing sunshine? We did see sunshine, and unfortunately getting these strong and very windy storms in. Again, the wind is going to be the #1 factor with these with the storms there. Do you have the wind gust over there, Alyssa? Yes. You want to talk about that real quick? I was just getting some reports. So we were talking about hail, mostly pea size, but there have been a couple reports just under an inch of, in diameter, I should say, for that hail. And then again, those winds 70 miles per hour. That's exactly what we were expecting with this system. It's about quarter size, by the way. Yes. Yeah. Just under quarter size. But we also, I want to turn to what
requirements are to put out these severe thunderstorm warnings, because I think this is important. You know, Jack has been showing you all of these warnings now that, again, we're just seeing the severe thunderstorm warnings right now. We have no active tornado warnings, but I want to emphasize that likely these severe thunderstorm warnings are being put out because of those wind gusts. And really, you saw it on those live Skyview cameras. I mean, those winds are incredibly impressive, and all the reports we've been seeing, 70 miles per hour. And for those severe thunderstorm warnings to be issued, they need to be 58 mile per hour or larger, and that's definitely been the case. I haven't seen a report yet of hail an inch or larger. It's just been a little bit under that. So again, likely all of those severe thunderstorm warnings have been put out because of those wind gusts that have been just so incredibly impressive. We saw it on the Skyview cam, and yeah, I can show you the graphic of, you know, what the wind gusts are right now, but I don't really think anything compares to seeing those live cameras, Jack. I think that really shows the story of what we're seeing out there. But again, turning to the wind gust map that we have here, still seeing that pocket right there in central Michiana, right around Plymouth, 53 miles per hour with those very strong wind gusts, and even up into South Bend, which we just saw on our live camera, 5-10 minutes ago when Jack was showing you those very, very strong wind gusts, 60 mile per hour winds. I mean, those are incredibly impressive winds, and they're damaging winds at that. You know, we're getting lots of damage reports, also getting reports of people stuck on the roads because of those very intense winds that we're seeing, and the rain that's falling as well. So I want to see if we can turn to visibility here. Let me see.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Because I'm sure that visibility is very low right now in some isolated areas.
We got a 70 mile an hour wind gust up there in St. Joseph. That's crazy.
I didn't see that. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Visibility. Yeah, exactly as we suspected in those areas where they're seeing some of those very strong winds. We just took a look at those wind gusts in same area like Plymouth, seeing that visibility under a mile because, again, very strong winds combining with that rainfall that's pretty heavy as well at times in those pockets of those thunderstorms. That's going to be the perfect combo to, as Jack said earlier, whiteout conditions. And, you know, we talk about that with snow. It's where we usually see it. But when you get those very strong winds, they're blowing that rain sideways. Yeah, you can't see on the roadways. So getting some reports of that, people stuck out on the roads. And I want to say, obviously, I'm not sure if you'd be watching if you're in the car right now. I hope not. But if you're in the car and you're under one of those where you don't have much visibility, definitely just park it and wait until that passes through. That's your best bet right now. Really, everybody should be at home, though. That's, I think, the biggest emphasis we can put here is, yes, there's no tornado warnings out right now. You don't need to get in your safe space, but you do likely want to stay home, wait till this line of storms moves through, and then go have your plans for the rest of the day today. It's really not worth it with the concerning winds that we've been seeing as this line is moving through. Jack?
Yeah, that's a great point there, Alyssa. Also, just wait just a little bit. After these storms move through, again, they're coming in quick, but they're also going to be leaving fast. So if you have any plans, just hold tight real quick, wait a couple hours until the system passes, and then we're going to be in the all clear. Put up the radar one more time. And we'll go ahead and discuss, again, the severe warnings that are moving through the area as of now. Again, just rather strong thunderstorms, especially down to our south. We're talking Elkhart County and Kosciuszko County really seeing the bulk of that system. My goodness, anytime we see just an area of just a large area, multiple miles there, again, there's 30 for reference. Just seeing incredibly strong winds associated with that. And again, really heavy rainfall just on top of that, which the combination of those two is just not a good, it's not a good team pairing, if you will, just because we saw those live cams. You can't see anything out there. And as Alyssa was hitting on, you should be inside there. It is 5 o'clock as of now. Still watching the storms. We will still be here in the First Alert Weather Center monitoring the system, letting everybody know any sort of severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. We are still going to be on alert for both of those warnings and watching the system move through. Again, should be moving out of the area within the next half hour to maybe 45 minutes, just because, again, this is a very quick and fast moving system. Once again, we will cut back on the air every once in a while. I'll let everybody know as soon as the storms are moving out, and if any more updates come down from the National Weather Service, we will not hesitate to jump on and first alert everybody. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe and make sure, again, you are staying inside for the remainder of the afternoon. Have a good one, everybody.